This is your first the first date of the UK tour. Is there any way?
It's not starting out well.
It's not starting out well.
No. This interview is just, there was a stumble right out.
No, yeah. And so is there any cities or venues you're looking forward to going to, or going back to, or going to for the first time?
You're in the UK?
In the UK.
I always just look forward to coming over here. I mean, we've never had a bad show here, so it's a great crowd. It's always, once they love you here, they always do. And that's just one of the neat things. You know, coming from a country sometimes where people's taste in music changes with their taste in jeans. It's cool to see the loyalty factor over here. Not that there isn't one there. It's just different. It's a different world.
Yeah, no, the loyalty factor. Because I think a few months back I spoke to Carl Sanders from Nile, and they say regarding the rock and metal scene in the UK, the fans are more loyal. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with what Ryan said about, like, it's just more of an appreciation for music than it is kind of like ingoing and outgoing things or whatever. But
there's loyal fans both places.
Sure, sure. You know, it is just different in the two states. But you know, I'm definitely enjoying being over here with Soil. Normally, when because they really have an amazing following here, and Head PE, we do well here as well, like in London and the bigger cities. But it's nice to come over with our label mates and play, and warm up the stage for them. And like he says, though, the UK crowds and fans are just like, having just been to Europe, and those fans are great too, but these ones are more like rabid. But we were just in Paris last night, and that was one of the best Paris crowds. Oh, but you guys don't really like the French that much.
I've been to Paris once.
I know, I'm just playing. Anyway.
Yeah, it's been a great package. I mean, just being with our friends is always cool. I mean, you can spend time on the road with your friends. It makes everything a lot easier. Mike gets along.
Yeah.
We've had some great shows so far in Europe that, there were definitely areas that we expected it, but there were areas that we weren't sure about that really surprised us. So we love. I mean, I can't wait to. This is the first, as you said, the first one in the UK. I can't wait to kick this off and see what's going to be like over here.
You're saying about being both on the same label. Is that how this tour came about?
For me, I think even before Head PE signed onto the Soil record label, Pavement Records, we had done a tour. I think a tour before that, and we got along on that one too. So we've kind of had like friends, in the industry, like agents that were hooked us up before, but now it's more, we're more like done a couple tours in the States together, so we get along like family, and so like it just makes it a lot easier,
That's really cool. So Soil have recently joined an independent label rather than a major. What is that? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we decided when we got back together, we weren't really sure whether we were going to get back together for the longest time.
Yeah.
And we talked about after doing the anniversary tour, the 10th anniversary of Scars over here, we started talking about I parted ways with Drowning Pool, and the more we talked about it, we realized we were really on the same page. And if we were going to do it again, we wanted to do it and have all the decisions in-house. And finally, turn left when we wanted to turn left and not have somebody behind a desk in New York telling us we should turn right. Mm-hmm. And so it was, once we realized we were all on the same page, we realized that was the direction we needed to go. So we licensed the record through different, like AFI here in the UK and in Europe, and I hope I got that right. Riot Entertainment in Australia. We got the opportunity to really deal with people that we had dealt with in the past and kind of handpick who we wanted to work with.
I saw unless this is another band we saw, you did a Kickstarter campaign for...
That would be us.
That'll be you.
Yes, I hope so.
Yeah.
I don't think I got to sue somebody.
Yeah. And that, I take it that was for your latest album?
Yes.
Yeah. What were the sort of pros and cons of having a Kickstarter campaign?
I didn't like it at first because I felt when it first came to the table and the idea came about, I didn't like it because I felt like I was standing on the street corner asking the people to give us a job to do for a handout. And I didn't like it, but the more people started talking to me about it, it's like, well, we're giving, they're getting something for the money. We put packages together. One of them was even flying over to Chicago and having pizza with us, just stupid stuff like that. But the point was, if you had a chance when you were a kid to do that with Alice in Chains or with Metallica or something when you were a fan, wouldn't you have loved that opportunity? And then that kind of got us. Like, it's not like we're taking something for nothing.
Right.
We're giving something. We're giving experiences to people that otherwise may not ever have it. So once that was kind of explained to me, I got it. I had some friends tell me, dude, I would have done that. You would have done that. So I got it after that. It was cool, and it allowed us to go into the studio and again not have that person, whether it was LA or New York, telling us how the album should be.
Yeah.
We did what we wanted to do.
Would that be something Head PE would consider doing?
Oh, sure. Because like he said, I think that sometimes it gets a bad rap or something because for whatever reason, but it's not, you're not getting something for nothing. It's another means by which fans can support the artists that they enjoy. So much has changed with the digital age and all that, and I've been putting out records since '96, and at this point with the level like where we're at, it's mostly it's just so different with the app, the internet and everything, and so now you can basically kids are just lots of times just listening to your music on YouTube or whatever without buying the album, but they will go to the show and buy a t-shirt. So a lot of the revenue streams are different, especially for songwriters like Ryan and myself, where it used to be you'd get all these publishing advances and all this money, the good old days, from actually selling albums, or a record company would anticipate you selling so many hard copies they'd advance you. Now everything's changed on how we make money, and you just kind of have to be patient with it. You can't fight against it because it is the way it is.
I was actually going to touch upon the whole, because like you say, you've been in the industry since the 90s when downloads were starting to come into play. And was actually going to ask you what you thought, how you think the internet, if that's a good thing or a bad thing for the industry.
It's a good thing in the fact that we have such a bigger opportunity to be in touch with the people that give us jobs, the fans that come out to the shows that support us. And there's more avenues to actually reach out and to hear what they have to say and to speak back. But at the same time, without sounding like a whiner, it has killed the industry that we grew up in. And so, as Jared was saying before, that's caused us to have to look at other avenues and other ways of supplanting some bit of that income, because things are so differently in the industry. And a big part of it is your Spotify's and that kind of thing that people pay. If you're paying $7 or $9 for a subscription, and you can just listen to everything you want, how much do you think the musician's actually getting from that? To really break it down, it's like not even a penny. I think who suffers the most, or suffers is a strong word, is the songwriter, because the revenue streams that come from live performance, such as getting paid to play live and selling t-shirts, that's the same. But getting paid to write the songs is not the same, because they're not buying the hard copies. They're mostly listening on YouTube or whatever for free. But at the same time, if it wasn't that, then you'd have the gatekeepers on who gets to sell and make music, and so in that way, if you're not on a major and you want to, like he says, make your own decisions and go independent, without the internet and the technology, almost impossible, right? And so then it's always a give and take, right? At least there aren't the gatekeepers of music who decides whose careers are over and whose start. Now you really can, if you hustle enough, do something,
Yes.
So it's really, there's a balance there.
I'm a 90s kid as well. I
Yeah.
remember when it was cassette tapes and then CDs and then... So
I'll put, yeah, like the story I like to tell is when we started, our first album was still when there was tape, and we had to, like, you know, rent a truck to haul the tape from recording to mixing, and now you can put your album in your back pocket, you know, from a hard drive. So, wow, that's within my tiny little career, you know.
Yeah, no, so much has changed in 10 years. No, like you've come back to the band after 7 years.
Well, that was a fast 7 years, right?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I was away for about 8 or so. I mean, I don't even know. It's a blur. But yeah, it was 7, 8 years somewhere. I was with Soil for 7 years, with Drowning Pool for 7 years, back with Soil now. I think somewhere in there I was married for 7 years. I've definitely got the 7-year itch thing down pat. My current girlfriend's like, I got like, what, 6 years left? Yeah.
Countdown clock.
But it's cool. I mean, when we got back together for the anniversary tour, we were going up on stage and playing songs that, I mean, we got together and rehearsed one night out of the last 8 years, and before we came over, and we were rehearsing in Stain's old, the band Stain's rehearsal spot, which was upstairs to a strip club, and the strip club manager kept bringing up pictures of Jägermeister. So we only got through half the set at the only rehearsal we had. So we were actually on stage shooting that video, the Live in London video, playing songs that we hadn't played in 8 years.
Live DVD, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we were actually hitting the stage that night and playing stuff. Playing stuff for myself definitely, and for John Wysocki, who was doing drums at the time, had never played in. You know, John had never played it in that band, in that setup, and I hadn't played it in 8 years. Some of the songs even longer because they weren't in the set. You know, towards the end of my time with Soil. So it was kind of a magical what the heck night.
That's cool.
Ray had some questions as well.
Yeah, right?
My camera lady has some questions here.
Hello. Yeah, just wondering, sort of like, how much did you have to learn in terms of like self-management? Obviously, you've had sort of like the experience before, but in terms of being self-managed, did you have to like learn very much, or was it stuff that you just referred back to, or? Because obviously you have to be much more involved now, so I'm just wondering, you know.
I think you accidentally learn stuff along the way, and we're still learning now. I mean,
Yeah.
The industry is still changing. People are still trying to figure out new avenues and new ways to try to offset certain things. So every day you're learning something new, and you're trying to incorporate it in what you do tomorrow. So yeah, I think it's an ongoing process.
Okay.
Or at least the people around me are
Yeah,
following like
for
that.
me, when I signed my first record deal in the 90s, I was absolutely just ignorant of any of the business stuff. And it took absolutely till I entered the indie world to even like start thinking about numbers and stuff.
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of artists are that way, much to their chagrinity, because everyone's waiting to steal from the artist when they're not looking, you know. A lot of accountants and managers and record labels always trying to steal from the artists, because artists are more concerned with writing and arts than like putting on their readers and looking through every fucking number, you know. So they know that and they take advantage. I mean, most are that I've run across are like crooked, you know. So.
Yeah, you speak the gospel. I hate to say it, but it's true. People around me at different times have been like, "Why are you so pessimistic? And why do you not trust anyone that you run into in life?" Period. I think it's from being in this business for so long. We, you know, there's the people sitting behind those desks that I spoke about earlier. You know, they're the ones that have the second house in the Hamptons or did.
Yeah.
Before the industry fell apart. You don't see too many musicians anymore that are, you know, living extravagantly. You know, it's those people
just
that
that
for us
really
that seem to be doing so well.
Yeah, I still feel blessed and lucky.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
you know, I look at the guys here in Southampton building stuff and roofing, and you know, having what I call a real job, and that's who I take my hat off to. You know. I haven't had a real job in 20 years, so.
Because they scared the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah. Well,
Thanks.
Kind of interesting that you say that. It's just because, you know, a lot of bands still have to do their day jobs just because they're not earning enough. Like, I mean, there's a band called Serenity that I really, really like, and they're from Austria, and they're still having to work a day job just so they can go on tour. So it's kind of interesting that you guys sort of saying about like all the crowdfunding. Do you think that's another way into it? You know, just to sort of like crowdfund all the tours and, you know, the new artists and things like that?
Well, at our level where we're at, there's a lot of hustling that has to go on. Or you just never make it because we just, you know, we're on our own out here.
Okay.
So every band, I think, there's as many stories as there are bands.
Yeah.
Because each band has a different financial picture.
Yeah.
You know, and each guy in each band has a different financial goal and a different amount of bills that he wants to pay.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? Everybody's got their own story to tell.
Okay.
And some guys, like the guy in American Head Charge, he plays guitar and he's out here, you know, working for Cisco fixing IP addresses when he's not on stage or whatever.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah.
I sell underwear doing this.
Right, there's different ways to skin the cat, but as long as, for me, is I just try to follow the path of my excitement, and which is, for me,
I
creativity.
think you've actually got to round up this interview because I think...
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we've been here for an hour longer. Ryan's pissed.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I'm yet to see it, but it's pretty even.
What advice would you give
I'm sure
to...
if he gets pissed, then you're out the window.
Okay.
I've been passing out pretty early lately. I think it was just yesterday morning I woke up and said, I don't remember last night at all. I remember going to bed. And Simon, the merch guy, was like, oh, you went to bed pretty early last night. And I was like, cool, who do I need to apologize to? He goes, no, you went to bed sooner than that.
I was just wondering, what advice would you give to artists who are wanting to switch over to an independent label?
Oh, so artists who are already signed? Is that the question?
Artists that want to get signed.
Or artists,
Artists who want to get signed.
Yeah.
Brian?
You know, there was a longest time in my career, I just would say, don't do it. Go back to school. But the fact of the matter is, I've tried to walk away from music so many times, and if it's in you, it's in you.
Yeah.
I mean, you just can't get away from it. You know, when I left Soil originally, I wasn't planning on doing anything else. When I left Drowning Pool, I wasn't sure if there was anything else I wanted to do musically. But at the end of the day, you just get drawn back into it. It's like some evil, just something or other. And you just keep going back to it. It's what you know. So, I mean, if it's in you, do what it takes, whatever it is, and so much of it is luck, so don't blame yourself at the end of the day. I've shared the stage with a hell of a lot more talented musicians that never got a record deal. And so it's a lot of luck, but you gotta keep your nose to it.
I couldn't agree with them more. There's an element of luck, and then you have to, like, persistence and talent or whatever, and I would build on what he said by, you know, like, at the beginning, it's not either music or something else. Which, when you're a kid, that's how you feel, like, no, it's music or nothing, but it's more like it can be music and school and music and a good job, and it can, you know, like for me, like when I decided, I gave up on getting a record deal and was like, well, I'm going to play music regardless after my day job because it's so fun and I love it, and that's when I got signed. But to me, what I would say to artists and kids is the most important thing is having a demo.
Yeah.
Right.
Because a most important thing is having a demo you can play for your friends without making any excuses.
Right.
That's the most important thing.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks guys.
Thank you so
Thank you. We're out of here. Whoa.